Good morning, students. Wish you all a happy Diwali. And we are going to continue with the lesson that the making of a scientist that we have already started. Okay. So in this lesson, we have learned that Albright got a strong support from his mother. Actually, this family environment plays an important role in the development of a child. Okay. So come to page number 56. So in his second year of high school, Richard Albright began the research that led in the discovery of an unknown insect hormone. Indirectly, it also led to his new theory of life of cells. He has a clear idea that what he has to do. He found out he had a discovery, he had the honor to discover an unknown insect hormone, and indirectly it also led him to his new theory of life of cells. I am sending you something. Have a look at it. Okay, so this is the way his main focus was on butterflies. The question he tried to answer was simple. What is the purpose of 12 tiny gold spots on a monarch pupa? There were 12 gold spots, and that was his biggest inquiry. Everyone assumed the spots were just ornamental, Albright said. But Dr. Urquhart didn't believe it. Most of us think that animals have the ornamental spots, but there was something other reason behind it. To find the reason, Albright and other excellent science students first had to build a device that showed that spores were producing a hormone necessary for the butterfly's full development. Just imagine they have found out that those spores were responsible for creating or means they were producing a hormone necessary for the full development of butterfly. This project won Albright's first place in the country fair and county fair and entry into the International Science and Engineering Fair. There he won third place for zoology. He also got a chance to work for during summer at the entomology laboratory of the Walter Reed Army Research Institute of Research. So this project was actually it was becoming popular all over the area. Especially he got an entry into the International Science and Engineering Fair. As a high school junior, Richard Albright continued his advanced experiments on the monarch pupa. That year, his project won first place at the International Science Fair and gave him another chance to work in the Army laboratory during the summer. This time, as he was high school junior, he continued his experiments on monarch pupa. His project won the first prize in international science fair, okay? And gradually he started becoming popular. In his senior year, he went up a step further. He grew cells from monarch wings in a culture and showed that the cells actually these cells were divided and developed into normal butterfly wings scales only if they were fed the hormone from the gold spores. That project won first place for zoology at the international fair. He spent the summer after graduation doing further work at the Army Laboratory and the laboratory of the US Department of Agriculture. So he worked at various places and showed his talent, and he became successful in producing and create. He showed that the cells would divide and develop into normal butterfly wings scales only if they were fed on hormone from the gold spores. Just imagine. The following summer, after his freshman year at Harvard University, Albright went back to the laboratory of the Department of Agriculture and did more work on the hormone from the gold spores. Using the laboratory's sophisticated instruments, he was able to identify the hormone's chemical structure. Just imagine the next summer, this freshman year, he reached to the Harvard University and then to the laboratory of the Department of Agriculture, and he worked more on the gold spores, okay, means gold spores and the hormones. A year and a half later, during his junior school, Albright got the idea for his new theory about cell life. It came while he was looking at X-ray photos of the chemical structure of a hormone. After 1.5 years, after when he was doing his junior, Albright got the idea to find out about the new theory of cell life. Okay, when he was looking X-ray photos of chemical structure of hormone. When he saw those photos, Albright didn't shout, Eureka, or even, I have got it. He didn't feel that much excitement when he created something new, when he saw some extraordinary photographs in X-ray. But he believed that along with the findings about insects, hormones, the photos gave him the to one of biology's puzzles, how the cell can read the blueprint of its DNA. DNA is the substance of the nucleus of a cell that controls heredity. You have already read in your Bible, isn't it? So, all of us know that the heredity is decided by DNA. It determines the form and function of the cell. DNA also determines the form and function of the cell. Thus, DNA is the blueprint of life. Actually, what we are, how do we look, what would be our physique, health, height, our skin color, everything is determined by DNA, and it is the blueprint of life. Albright and his college roommate James R. Wong worked all that night drawing pictures and constructing plastic models of molecules to show that how it would happen. Together, they later wrote the paper that explained the theory. Now, Albright and his college roommate James R. Wong, they worked together. They created new pictures, new designs, and plastic models of molecules. And then they together wrote a paper that explained the theory. Surprising, no one who knew him. Richard Albright graduated from Harvard with highest honors, second in the class of 1510 means 1510. Albright went on to become a graduate student researcher at Harvard Medical School. There he began doing experiments to test his theory. Then, actually, what happened that it was a Big honor for him that he secured first position in the class of 1,510 students. And then he became a researcher at Harvard Medical School. These are the very prestigious universities, okay? Harvard University, Harvard Medical School. And he continued doing experiments on the cell theory and to test his theory. If the theory proves correct, it will be a big step towards understanding the process of life. It might also lead to new ideas for preventing some types of cancer and other diseases too. All of this is possible because of Ebright's scientific curiosity. His high school research into the purpose of sports on a monarch pupa eventually led him to his theory about cell life. Okay? What happened now? If his theory proved correct, it would be a big step towards understanding the processes of life. It might also lead to new ideas for preventing some types of cancers. Even, just imagine, his theory, his discoveries would be proving a milestones even in the field of cancer treatment. All of this is possible because Ebright's scientific curiosity. Anyone cannot do it. It is because of scientific curiosity. So, curiosity is the main factor that leads anyone to become a scientist or in the field of inventions. And his theory was on monarch pupa as well as cell theory. Richard Ebright has been interested in science since he first began collecting butterflies. When he was a young boy, he started collecting butterflies, and his interest started in science since then. But not so deeply that he hasn't time other interest. It was not that he did not have any interest in other things. Ebright also became a champion debater and public speaker and good Calvinist and all-round outdoor person. It is not that he had done only in the field of research in the field for pupa, for monarch butterflies, and for cell theories. He was a perfect canoeist. Canoeing, you must be knowing, it is a long boat in which only one or two persons can row it, isn't it? So he was a perfect debater, champion debater with a perfect, public speaker, motivator, and chaos, as I told you, perfect photographer. He is an expert photographer. So what not? He is an all-round personality. Especially his photographs pertaining to nature and scientific exhibits. In high school, Richard Ebright was a straight A student because learning was easy. He turned a lot of his energy towards the debating and model United Nations clubs. He also found someone to admire. Richard A. Wetherill, his social study teacher and advisor to both clubs. Mr. Wetherill was the perfect person for me then. He opened my mind to new ideas, Ebright said. Ebright is not lagging behind in giving the credit to his motivator, Mr. Wetherill. Okay? Who is this? He used to admire Ebright's experiments, researches, and apart from it, Actually, he was an energy for him. Richard would always give that extra effort, Mr. Vedra said. And Mr. Vedra also said that he would means Ebright was putting in extra effort. What pleased me was here was this person who put in 3 or 4 hours at night doing debate research beside doing all his research with butterflies and his other interests. Not only, just imagine how enthusiastic, how much caliber he had. Apart from doing his other research work regarding monarch, butterfly, or other things, he was the person who put in 3 or 4 hours at night to in doing debate research. Okay. Richard was competitive, Mr. Vedra continued. Mr. Vedra कह रहे हैं कि actually वो बहुत competitive nature का है, but not in a bad sense. Richard wasn't interested in winning for winning's sake or winning to get a prize. Rather, he was winning because he wanted to do the best job he could. For the right reasons, he wants to be the best. Mr. Vedrul कह रहे हैं that Richard was not interested in winning the prizes. He was not doing research or anything for the sake of winning prizes. He was not doing all these for the sake of winning prizes. Actually, he was just doing the things for his own satisfaction. And he wanted to do his best. That's all. He was not doing anything, any work, any research for the sake of winning prizes. And that is of the ingredients in making of a scientist. This is the only thing that enables a person to become a scientist. Start with the first rate mind, add curiosity. See this mantra for success. Start with a first rate mind, add curiosity, and mix in the will to win for the right reasons. First of all, our goal should be clear, correct, and pious. Then, add ingredients which are required to become a scientist. First rate mind, sharp mind. Then, curiosity is to be added. The most important ingredient is curiosity. And mix it with will to win. It is not that हमने करना है इसलिए काम शुरू कर दे. We have to add the will to win for the right reasons. हमें जीतने की इच्छा शक्ति ही होनी चाहिए. Okay? Ebright has these qualities. From the time the book, The Travels of Monarch X, opened the world of science to him, Richard Ebright has never lost his scientific curiosity. And after he had received the book, The Travels of Monarch X, it had opened Ebright's mind in the field of research, in the field of science. And after that, Ebright did not lose his interest in science, did not lose his curiosity and scientific curiosity. Okay? So I hope it is clear to you all, and I think that this must be very clear to you all. First of all, you must have a clear concept about Richard Ebright, his scientific discoveries, his will to win, his curiosity, hard work, first great mind, and most important thing is support from family. If, just imagine, if his mother would not have provided him with books, this telescope, microscope, everything was provided by his mother. And the only person who was behind his success was his mother. Though there were other like Mr. Vedder and the another person is Mr. Vedder is the strong motive behind his success. His mother did not lag behind, and apart from Mr. Vedder, Dr. Urquhart was also there to motivate him. Okay, so this book, The Travels of Monarch X, had opened his mind in the field of scientific discovery. Okay, this way we can say that a person can become a scientist, can reach to the pinnacles of success if he gets proper environment, if he himself has a proper vision, a strong will to win, and the strong will to put in hard work, he will definitely reach to the pinnacles of success. Okay, with this, we are coming to the end of the lesson. Tomorrow we shall start with the next one.